I wanted to ask you just kind of what you think. Um, if you want to tell us about sort of the worst part of of Eliza's condition and sort of some of the like harder elements of that, if that's okay.
Um, it's all pretty hard, but one of the there's a few things that I'm gonna say, but one of the things that are really hard is her not being able to speak, because that is really hard because she always gets really upset because we can't understand what she's trying to say, and then it gets stressful because we can't understand and we don't know if she's hungry or if she's tired or she's hurting. And she was also diagnosed with epilepsy when she was 7 years old, and that gives her seizures, which are like really hard to watch her have. And sometimes I think at the start we had to take videos of the seizures, to but that was really sad. And she had to take her medication, but she would not take it. She would just spit it out. So she got a gastrostomy. So we do that, and we have to give her a medication, so she doesn't have seizures as often anymore. She maybe has like a few a month or something like that, but not as often. So what like she had to go to hospital because she choked on something one day, and it was only me and my little brother Felix and my dad in her home, and my dad, he called me through to her room, and he was holding her in his arms, and she was like gasping, and her face was like blue. So he literally just chucked me his phone, and he was like, "Can you call the ambulance?" And I had literally no idea what to do. So my hand, it was like shaking a lot, and I literally dropped the phone, and I ran to one of the neighbors who was a nurse, but she wasn't home. It was only her husband, so he called her, and he came and he called them, and she rushed there, and by then she was like turning purple and stuff. But my mum, she was in England helping my granny move house,
Oh wow.
so I had to call her and explain, and I also had to like run outside to the ambulance because they probably wouldn't have like known exactly where our house was, so I had to like run outside and like wave my arms in the air and stuff. Yeah, and then they came in with like a big oxygen tank, and like my dad had to like carry her out, and they just sat in the driveway for a bit just to check, and then she had to go, and because of all the oxygen they were like pumping into her, it made her lungs burst and like collapse, so she had to have two operations. She was there in the hospital for 5 weeks. I think three and a half of those were in intensive care, and then the other ones were just in a ward. But she had to have two operations on each of her lungs, and I think now she has some sort of lung disease because she had this lung disease that we had no idea about, and she's going in for like just to check her up, and she's going to be in theater for about 4 hours, I think. That's in March, the start of March.
I'm really sorry to hear that, and I hope that that goes okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, interview aside, I just want to be clear that you are an absolute hero. Like that is the most insane thing for an 11-year-old to have to do that I've ever heard. And you deserve just all the credit in the world. Like seriously, man, like that's awful. And I also want you to know that all of this stuff isn't like normal, and like I get that. Like it's hard.
Yeah, it just feels normal for me because I'm so used to it now. But like everyone else, they were like, "Wow," like and stuff like that. They're like, "You're so good," but it was just usual. It was just normal for me. Like it's not normally that bad, but I just like it just all happened. So I was just like, so I'd like it was just really hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. That sounds really, really hard. Yeah, and I get fractions of that from just having a sister with Rett as well. Um, but yeah, no, that sounds like a nightmare. Um, and I'm sorry that you went through that. And you are my absolute hero.